Okay, does anybody know what rational numbers are? Okay, Brooklyn, what's the rational number?
Aren't they already like grouped them into certain categories?
No, a good guess. So, okay, rational numbers are numbers that can be expressed as a fraction. Okay, so Jace, give me a number.
2.
2. Can 2 be expressed as a fraction? Yeah, 2 over 1, 4 over 2, 6 over 3. All of those are fractions that are equivalent to 2, aren't they? Okay. Give me, Zoe, give me a negative number.
-7.
-7. Can I express -7 as a fraction?
Maybe.
-7 over 1, is that a fraction? Yes. Okay. What about a decimal? If I said 0.5, okay, 0.5 is an easy decimal to use. Can I express 0.5 as a fraction? What is it? 5 over 10, or 1/2, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it is a decimal, what do you notice about when I say, when I talked about the decimal, this is rational numbers, by the way. Make sure you're writing this down. Okay, so when I say a rational number, okay, again, as I mentioned, that is a number that I can express as a fraction. So, let me open to that page real quick. Okay, rational number is a number that can be expressed as a fraction. And we talked about, I think Jay said her number was 2. Okay, I can express 2 as a fraction by doing 2 over 1. Okay, then Zoe said -7. I can express -7 as a fraction by doing -7 over 1. And then I said 0.5. Well, I can express that as 5 over 10 or 1/2, right? Now, why is this number 5 over 10? Okay, think about place value. Okay, one place to the right of the decimal, what is this place right here? Does anybody remember? Tenths. And why do they call it tenths? Because it stands for a 10, right? That means 5 over 10. If this was 0.7, what does that actually mean? 7 tenths. If this was 0.07, this is not tenths. What's the one next to the tenths? This would actually be what? 7 hundredths. Okay, if this was 0.003, what would that be? 3 1,000ths, okay? All of these are rational because I'm expressing these as a fraction, right? Right? Yes. Okay. So how do I get to the decimal from a fraction form? In other words, if I was to give me a fraction, Elijah. 1/5. Okay, good. So if I wanted to express 1/5 as a decimal, who remembers how to write this as a decimal? Does anybody remember how to do this? Okay, Chase, what do I do?
We turn the 5 into 100.
You could do that. You totally could do that. Okay, because 5 happens to be a factor of 100. Okay? But if I didn't have a factor of 100, okay? What is a fraction? Guys, what is a fraction? It's a if you saw this, look. What do you automatically say that is? Look at it. What is it? You would say, okay, several of you said 5. Why is that 5? Because a fraction is all it is a division problem, right? So if I think of this as a division problem, okay, what can I do with 1/5? Can I rewrite that as a decimal? Yeah, I'm going to take 1 and divide it by 5, okay? But there's a problem. 5 can't go into 1. Emma, what can I do to that 1 to make it bigger? Can I add a 0? If I add a 0, I have to add a decimal in front of where I added that 0, right? So how many 5s now go into 10? 2. And then when I take this 10 away and I have a 0 down here, that's what I want. Okay? In other words, does anybody know what it's called when I have a 0 down there at the bottom? Jacob? Okay, did this number stop? Are there any numbers coming after this? No. Okay, that's what's called a terminating decimal. Okay, because that decimal stops, the numbers after that decimal stop. Okay, because there's a 0 down here.
So that, which 0 would be the terminating decimal?
This 0.2 is a terminating decimal because this stops right there.
Right.
There's nothing after it, okay? What about something like this? Let's say I had 5/8. Can I rewrite 5/8 as a decimal? Yes. That means 5 what? Elliot, write this down. 5 divided by what? 8. Okay, so 5. How many 8s go into 5? None. So I have to do what? Add a decimal and a 0. Can 8 go into 50? Can 8 go into 50? How many times can 8 go into 50? 5? 6? Okay, and if I do 8 times 6, what is that? It's 48. Well, this did not terminate. Why? Because I still have a what down here? I still have a 2. This is not a 0. So 8 can't go into 2, but I can make 2 bigger, right, by adding what? Another 0. Okay, bring that down. Can 8 go into 20? How many times can 8 go into 20? 2. Okay, and what is 8 times 2? 16. Now I have a 4. Can 8 go into 4? Can I add another 0? Yes, I can. And now I have 40. Can 8 go into 40?
Yes.
How many times? 5. And what do you now have down here? A 0. So this terminated in the thousands place, but it did stop. Okay? So this would be my answer, 0.625. Okay? Question.
Is it possible for a number to go on infinitely?
If it's an irrational number, which we're not going to deal with right now. Okay? So you guys try this one. Okay? Can I erase this? Okay. Try this one. Let's say I want you to write 1/40. I want you to write that as a decimal. Go. Write that as a decimal. All right, so let's start with 1 divided by 40. Can 40 go into 1? No, so I'm going to make it bigger, meaning I put a decimal here and a 0. Here's a problem. Can 40 go into 10? No. So I'm going to have to put a 0 up here and then add a what? Add another 0. Can 40 go into 100? How many times can 40 go into 100? 2. And what is 40 times 2? 80. What am I left with? 20. Can 40 go into 20? No. Add another 0. Can 40 go into 200? Definitely. How many times? 5. What's 5 times 40? So did this terminate? Yes. So this would be 0.025. And if the questions ask, did this number terminate? What would we say? Yes, it terminates. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Now, let's say I would like let's do 1/25. Okay? If I asked you to write this as a decimal, what does that mean? That means 1 what? Divided by 1 divided by 25. Now, what if there's a negative in front of that? Do you think that changes anything? Still do the same thing, right? Okay, this is just 1 divided by 25, but this is going to be negative. Well, how many 25 is going to 1? None. I got to add a decimal and a what? 0. So add a decimal 0. How many 25 is going to 10? 0. So I can put a 0 here. Add another. How many 25 is going to 100? 4. Okay, did this terminate? So this would be negative 0.04, and it terminates. Okay? Before I go any further, does everybody understand how this works so far? Yeah? Okay. Can I erase this? Okay. What about this? I have something different on this one. Let's say I have 5/9. Okay. How do I write this as a decimal? Divide what? Divide 5 by 9. Would I get a different answer if I divide 9 by 5? Yeah. Okay. So 5 divided by 9. How many 9s go into 5? 0. So I have to add a what? Decimal and a 0. How many 9s go into 50? 5? 5? Okay. So if I do 5, what do I have down here? I have a 5, don't I? Now I'm going to add another 0. How many 9s go into 50? 5. Now I have another 0. How many 9s go into 50? Okay, am I ever going to stop this? No. Okay, so what does that mean? Yeah, okay, this means the answer is 0.5, but I'm going to put a bar over the top. And that bar represents what? That means that number what? Repeats. It's never going to stop. Okay? So is this a terminating decimal? No, it's not. Okay, this is a repeating decimal. Okay? And by the way, anytime you have a 3, a 6, or 9 on bottom, it's going to repeat. Yep. Okay. Are we good so far? Yes? Okay. Next part. You guys write this as a decimal. Okay? Sometimes only one of the numbers repeats. Okay? For example, if I did this, negative 5/6. Can you write that as a decimal? What's being divided by what? Other way. 5 divided by 6. Okay, so this is 5 divided by 6, and it's negative, right? How many 6s go into 5? None. So I have to do what? Add a 0 and a... How many 6s go into 50? Somebody said 8. 8. Now I have a 2 down here. Well, 6 can't go into 2, so I can add another 0. How many 8s go into 20? 2? 3. Now I have another 2. How many 8s go into 20? How many 6s go into 20? What do you notice? What's happening here? What's going to repeat? The 3 is the only one repeating. So if I wrote my answer, I would not write negative 0.83 repeating, would I? What would the repeating bar only go over the what? The 3. Okay? Is this terminating? No. It's repeating. Okay. You with me so far? Okay. Okay, sometimes you have big numbers. Okay? Good old-fashioned long division. Bless you. Let's say I had something like this. Negative 7 over 32. Okay? If you don't start to see something repeating after 4 or 5, even 6 decimal places, it's probably going to terminate. Okay? What does this mean? First of all, is this going to stay negative? Yeah? So this means my answer is going to be negative. Is this 7 divided by 32? Yeah. How many 32s go into 7? None. So what do I need to do? Decimal and a 0. Okay. How many 32s go into 70? 32, 64. 2. Okay, so minus 64. Now I have a 6 down here. Can 32 go into 6? No. So I add a what? Add another 0. Okay, bring that down here. How many 32s go into 60? 1. Okay, so minus 32. What's left down here? 28. Okay. Can I put another 0 up here? Bring it down. Okay, now when I get down to numbers like this, okay, 32 into 280. What number is 32 really close to? 30, right? So if I think about 30, okay, 30 is an easy number to multiply, right? If I did 30 times 6, what would that be? 180. That's, I still got a lot to go, don't I? So if I did 30 times 9, what's that? 270. So do you think we could try 32 times 9, or do you think that might be too big? Too big. So what's one we should go with? Let's go with 8. Okay? All right, so how do I do 32 times 8? Do you guys remember how to do this in your head? 32 is a 30 into what? I'll show you what you're going to do in your head. Okay? 32 is a 30 and a 2, right? What's 30 times 8? In your head, what's 30 times 8? 240? What's 2 times 8? What's 240 plus 16? 256. Okay, we did that in our heads, right? What's 280 minus 56? Anybody? We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Borrow from the 8. It's a 7. 10 minus 6? 24. Okay. Can 32 go into 24? So let's go another step. What's that going to be? Another 0. Oops, I'll do it in blue so I don't mess up. Okay, now we got another 240. Well, 256 was 32 times 8, so what should we go with? 7. Good idea. And what is that? Anybody know? 32 times 7. What's 30 times 7? 210. Okay. Plus 32. Sorry, plus 14. What is that? 224. Okay, what's left? 16. Okay. We can add another 0 here. We're getting close. Don't worry, trust me. Okay, let's do, what's 30 close to? How many 32 close to? 30, right? How many 30s would go into 160?
8.
Think about that. What's 160 close to? If I did 30, what's 30 times 5? 150. So let's try 32 times 5. What's 30 times 5? 150. What's 2 times 5? 10. What's 150 plus 10?
160.
Is that where we want to be? Yes. So now I have a 5 up here, minus 160. Did it finally terminate? Yes. I hope you copied that because that exact problem is on your homework.
Good thing I did.
Yeah. Okay. So I did one of your problems for you. That was nice of me. Okay. All right, here we go. Your assignment. Any questions? Are we good on this?